Hey, what's going on everybody? Dungeon Builder back again with another video. So after my last video that I posted about D&D combat, there was something I said in there that kind of got stuck in my brain. I think combat in D&D is as fun as the whole table makes it. I don't think all the pressure should be on the Dungeon Master and it shouldn't be on the players. So yeah, it's a collaborative game. The players, the Dungeon Master should all be working together to keep the game fun and interesting. I know for me, as the Dungeon Master, I pretty much always feel like, alright, I gotta keep things moving, I gotta keep it going. And I have to remind myself sometimes, hey, let it breathe, take a moment, let the players do what they want to do. It's not on me to push the pace every second of the game. The players should have agency, they should be able to do what they want to do. So here's just a few things that I think are good reminders for both players and GMs that we can all think about a little bit as we play or run the game. Number one, prep. It's not just for game masters. I know as the primary Dungeon Master pretty much my whole D&D career, I've done a lot of prep. A lot of prep. It's not just all on the Game Master. Players can prep before the game. Look over your character sheet. Make sure you're leveled up. You know, it doesn't have to be long. You can just, take a quick glance over. Okay, we're going to be probably in a combat-heavy session. Let me look over my, special abilities or that new spell I picked up. Make sure I know how it works so that when it comes to my turn, I'm not slowing down the whole combat or the whole session by being like,
hold on, let me just double check here, cross-reference. Okay, yeah, well, hold on there, brother. I think I have to add another 2d6 to this, but let me verify.
Courteous things for the whole table. Make sure you're up to date on your abilities and what your character can do, so that way when it gets to your turn, you're ready to roll and it keeps things flowing. Another thing you can do is reread your session notes from last session if you took any, or, do a recap at the beginning of the session. Make sure you know what your character's motivations are, what their goals are. Are you guys on a specific quest? Is there something your character is looking for that session? Just kind of do a mental checklist so that you're ready to go and have some goals for that session, or at least know what your character should be looking for. It kind of keeps the game interesting. That way you're ready to interject if the spotlight is thrown on you, or if there's downtime, you can say, hey, while everybody's taking a rest, my character wants to go into town and look for the special incense that they need. Just helps keep things flowing, helps your game master know what to do, or fills those gaps, and it keeps you involved in the story as well. If you show up and you're just like, yep, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my character wants, and I don't know how any of my special abilities work. Yeah, you can see how that kind of plays against the flow of the game. So just do a little bit of prep beforehand. And game masters, most likely I don't have to tell you, make sure you're ready for the game. At least have your encounters ready to go, have some NPCs prepared, all that good stuff. Just kind of more the basics of game mastering. You know where the story might progress so that you can kind of lay out a little bit of the road ahead of them, but also have some things ready for the fly. But kind of goes without saying, most times the game master is prepared, but doesn't hurt to have, something random prepared in case the characters go off track. Both sides of the table, preparation is important. Number two, staying engaged on other people's turns. This primarily has to do with combat, but it can apply to role-playing moments as well. It's for players as well as game masters. When you're in the middle of combat, even though it's not your turn, it's good to be thinking about what you're going to do on your turn, but don't forget to keep your head up and focus on everybody else. It makes the game and the combat just that much more exciting and more in-depth. So if you're, sitting there and you're just kind of looking down at your character sheet or having a side conversation because it's not your turn, but the person across the table is having like a really cool moment, like say they try something crazy, or even not, they're just like, I'm going to take a slash at the creature. If you can stay focused on what they're doing, it can kind of help the whole table get involved. So say the wizard across the table says, I cast magic missile, boom, and the game master describes how the 3 darts of magic crash into the goblin, and he's just standing there, barely able to keep himself up, you know that creature is probably about to go down, and maybe that'll inform your decision. And also, maybe in character, you can say something to encourage that player or that player character in the moment. Be like, "Huzzah! Well done!" Do something that keeps the game involved, because, you know, it kind of stinks when it's your turn and you've been waiting a while. You do something, you have a cool moment, or say you have a big fail, and then nobody at the table reacts. You just feel kind of like, okay, that's my turn. All right, I'm done. You can move on now. But if people are reacting, like, say you go to take your turn, you fail miserably, and you are now like hanging off the edge of a cliff, and everybody's like, like, no, Bordeaux, we gotta save him. Like, it just keeps the game energy high and fun, and it's nice to, you know, when the spotlight's on you, you would hope that other people would be just as engaged with your character's decisions as you are, and you can return that favor. So when it's the barbarian's turn and they go into a rage, you know, you can get hyped for them as well. Same for game masters. When, you know, other people are taking their turn, don't just be focusing on the dice numbers and the hit points. Make sure you're looking at the people and staying involved with their decision making and reacting accordingly. If they're doing something that is dangerous, you know, play into that, really build that tension. Or if they're doing something funny, allow them to have that moment. So it's important that we all just acknowledge each other while combat is going, and in role-playing moments. If somebody's having a dramatic conversation and your character's not even in that room, you can still be involved as like a watcher at the table and just be like, oh shoot, like that's pretty impactful. Or if it's with an NPC, you can still be listening and, you know, making mental notes, helping keep track of what's going on. So it's just important for everybody at the table to stay engaged as much as possible. Obviously, there's going to be times where you want to, you know, plan something, you know, you're looking over something quick. That's fine. But also make sure to stay engaged as other people are taking their turns. Number 3, this is a pretty quick one, but keep things moving. For game masters, if the players are kind of at a lull or a loss of what to do, have a wandering monster show up, give them a clue, something like that. You know, don't let them just sit there and be bored the whole session. That's where you can interject to keep things moving. That's pretty much your job. Players, you know, back to combat, keep things snappy, keep things moving, stay engaged. This really ties into the other two that we've already covered. Be proactive and work together. If you can tell that things are moving kind of slowly, maybe take that moment to reach out to another player character in character and say, hey, how do you feel about our mission that we're on? Ask questions that bring the party together or reveal information about the other characters. Do you really think this is the best path? What brought you here? Do you think we will stay together after this mission? You know, any kind of number of ways to keep the information going, keep the fun going, keep the spark going. It just helps kind of snowball after that. Maybe that'll inspire somebody else to ask a question in character. And in combat, just be ready for your turn. Have a plan A. If plan A gets mucked up because that creature dies or something happens, have a plan B ready to go. Players keep the game moving when it's your turn. Game masters keep the pace going. When it gets to a lull, keep the game moving. Number 4, help build the story together. This is really building off of the other things we talked about. The whole point of the game is that it's communicative. We're all building a story together. You know, your individual character has its own story, but you're there to hype up and build up everybody around you. Players, ask questions of your game master to kind of dig deeper into the world. When you enter a town, you can even ask above the table outside of your player character and say things like, would our characters be aware of the deities that are worshipped in this region? Would our characters be aware of who is ruling over this town or who the mayor is? That kind of thing. And that can help kind of draw into the story or the quest that you're on. Game masters, make sure you ask questions of your players' characters. You know, as an NPC, you could, you know, they walk into a shop and the owner of the shop, you know, not just, oh, what brings you here? But, you know, things like, oh, how long have you been traveling together? Oh, you're such and such's son, aren't you? Like, things like that to kind of help your players be a little bit more in depth in the role-playing. You can ask things, maybe it's an NPC that's been traveling with them for a while, they can ask more in-depth questions like, what's the most dangerous region of the world that you've been through? Things like that. What was the hardest monster that you've ever come against and slayed? Just to help them stay in that story, build that story together. That's why we're all there, is to just build this story, not for our individual characters, but as a group, as a party, and carve out this world together. So help build that story as a table. Number 5, remember, it's a game. We're all here just to have fun. We're all just trying to make good memories and have fun with our friends. And every table's different. You know, sometimes a game that's run more seriously or a moment that's very serious can be a lot of fun, where you're all really focused in and everybody's hanging on that tension, and that can be a lot of fun. Or you can be at a table or a session where, you know, everybody's just kind of goofing around, having a great time. We're all laughing, just being dorks together, playing a fun imaginary game. Both are great, and both can happen at the same table, and both can be exclusive. Neither is wrong, neither is right. Both are fun. At the end of the day, you know, it's about having fun with your friends, rolling dice, having a good time. And that's what we should try to cultivate as game masters and as players. Game masters, let your players be heroes. Give them heroic moments. Make situations where they can use their special abilities and be powerful and be tested. Players, let your game master run that creepy villain and have their epic monologue, and everybody should be coming to the table with the mindset that they're there to have fun, and they're trying to let everybody else have a good time and have fun. It's not about coming with a selfish mindset where you're just there to try and get something out of your character or get something out of the game for yourself. You should be coming to the table open-minded and in good spirits, so that you're creating an environment for everyone to have a good time. Not just yourself, not just the game master, not just the players. Everybody's there to share. Everybody's playing a game. So overall, you know, enjoy those moments with friends, create awesome stories, be serious and in the moment, be able to goof around and have a good time when the moment calls for it, and just remember that it is a game and that we're all here to have fun, and we're there to build up our characters as well as other people's characters. This hobby is so much fun and full of creativity and just imagination, and it's just such a joy to share that time with friends. So work together and remember to have fun at your table. Unless you're playing a bird person, then you can leave my table. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you could like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, just help me grow the channel. I really appreciate all the outpouring of kindness that I've seen, you know, since starting this channel. If you've watched this far, I did publish my own book. It's on Amazon right now. It's called Simple NPC Names. If you want to go check it out, maybe pick up a copy, I would truly appreciate it. If you can't pick up a copy right now, maybe add it to your wish list, and somebody will pick it up for you in the future. I really appreciate all the support, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep building.